each table would like to give a quick summary of the kinds of things that you talked about. And then I have one sort of overarching question to get some feedback on. So how about this, my favorite table over here? I like this table.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we kind of had a bunch of great ideas. One of the thoughts that came was that there's different audiences in Clinton, that when you're addressing the tourists as opposed to the residents, and then even within the residents, there's different audiences there, whether it's socioeconomic, or you live down by the marina, and you don't live down by the marina, you live more towards the hinterlands. You know, how do you know, those, how, yeah, well, you know, up on the ledge where I live, yeah. You know, it's, and so how do you approach these different, market to these different, you know, audiences? You know, maybe capitalizing on some of the marketing to the Hammonasset tourists who are coming into our town to, you know, they're camping there or they're visiting there, kind of how we're capitalizing on the Clinton crossings, how to do the banners across, like we talked about the banner across Route 1, which no longer exists, I think, because the utility bills.
The state won't.
Oh, the state won't allow us?
No, it needs to be fixed.
Oh, it needs to be fixed, okay. So that was, you know, you go downtown Madison, you see those banners all the time, and they're very good at informing the town of things that are coming up. You know, one of the ideas was to put banners on the bridges over 95, and to attract, you know, 95 traffic. Yeah, come to Clinton Crossing, come, you know, come visit Shamar, you know, whatever it is that you want to advertise. But that could be another, you know, low-hanging fruit kind of way to approach that audience.
I want you to know that when I leave this meeting, I'm organizing the Cowhill Road Militia.
There used to be a Yaga,
I know.
so you can have a militia now.
Some other opportunities was, you know, maybe talking, you know, having some sort of association. We have the chamber, but we don't really have an association for our businesses, whether it's a restaurant association or a marina association.
That's their choice.
You know, that, you know, you don't necessarily have to pay into, but is helping businesses to market. And, you know, and people can bring ideas or, you know, challenges to them. And, you know, one of them was the hours. Like, you may have these great events that take place downtown, but then there's no place to go to eat afterwards. Because the rest, you know, Coffee Break's closed, Malone is closed. You know, you have pizza, but you know, sometimes you want something different than pizza. You do have chips, yep, you have chips, but there's not a lot of variety.
Can I interrupt for 1 minute? And then we have different events in town where we have food trucks. And chips and pizza get really nasty.
Yes.
So, you know, we're like Christmas in Clinton, we're at this point where do we have trucks or don't we have trucks? You know, Mike Coco went to every restaurant in town and said, you want to participate? Didn't hear from any of us. So I assume we're having trucks.
Yeah, that was the first
On that very point, on that very point, we are taking on the issue of these trucks, food trucks in town. And for the time being, we put it in limbo because we're trying to get the community to give us some feedback. Basically, we're going to have a survey to find out how people feel about it because, like I said earlier, there are always conflicting interests. If you allow the food trucks, and a lot of towns have specific ordinances for them, or regulations, Madison does. And we had, our regulations committee had drafted a set of regulations, they're already drafted, basically addressing the types of food trucks, how long they can stay, the temporary ones, the more, the ones that are more regular, where they can go, whether it's just private property, whether they can park in municipal properties. And we were set to have a public hearing on this. And one of our members, very respected member, raised the issue that maybe we shouldn't be too comfortable about implementing any of these regulations unless we have some greater feedback, a survey, if you will, from the town, suggesting whether it's good, bad, indifferent, and that's what we're going to do. We put it on hold, and we're hoping to set up a
If I
a
could,
webpage.
yeah, if I make one suggestion? Make sure that you frame it, because if you just say food trucks, everybody's gonna think, oh, all across Route 1, we're gonna just have food trucks. But if you say, at these events, we think this would be,
Well, it's not just events, there are pizza trucks that can come to your residence and you can have your party at your residence.
But you shouldn't be able to regulate whether I have
Well, we could.
a pizza truck coming to my house.
And this is part of
This is
part of it. It depends on how long the event is. Is it 4 hours? You can have 4 hours. Is it 8 hours? You can have 8 hours. There's all sorts of things that can be done, and that's why I think it's a good idea
It is a very good idea. They have
Yeah.
the town.
to have a town-wide discussion as
Yeah.
best as we can.
And merchants too.
And merchants too. Well, they'll have
Well,
an
they'll be very
opportunity.
vulnerable, sir.
You know what's gonna happen? I'll tell you right now, I'll predict it. We'll have the survey, we'll get the results, we'll set up the rules, and after they're in place, we're gonna hear complaints.
Well, that's just the nature of the beast,
And Selma, one thing is,
How do you plan to, we talked about communication being difficult. How do you plan to get the most feedback from the survey? Who do you plan to target, and how do you plan to, figure out where
It's still
that
in the
survey
works,
is
and
going?
we're trying to figure out that very.
That's-
How about an election day? You get a
Have a
couple.
flyer.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
election day, how many people,
Right.
not many
Oh,
come
not-
to election
yeah.
day, but so to your point of,
Yeah.
that we're so diverse, how do we disseminate information to all of those people?
I'm gonna be perfectly frank.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be even more frank with you. My initial reaction was, we're elected to make those very decisions as planning and zoning members. And, we can have a survey, we're gonna get maybe 200 ideas or 200 opinions. And at the end of the day, we have 12,000 plus people in town. We're not gonna get a real cross-section that way. And it's gonna come down to planning and zoning anyway.
But I do think you're gonna find an overwhelming, people want them in the town for the events. That's what is parsing out the event versus your backyard. Because during the 350 thing, we really did bump into it all year. And it was pretty much 6,000 to 2 was the vote. And it was really, there were a couple people that really don't wanna do it, and they're very vociferous about it, and I can understand it. But it's almost like, I think you're gonna find that people are gonna say, yes, we want them, but then you're gonna have to be the Solomon thing, of how do you really,
Well, are you saying to me that they want them on public properties?
No, they
You
want them at
park on Route
events.
1, or they have to be on.
they want them at events, they want them at Christmas
They don't
and
want
Clinton, they want them at the, if there's going to be the Bluefish Festival, I mean, all the kinds of things that are gonna be there
They
just
don't
for
want to
events.
park them.
They don't want, that's where you bump into it, but it's having them for events and makes the event, the feedback, as people love it, they can be, what we did to get overlaid it, we made sure there wasn't a pizza truck, there wasn't something the chips would be competing with, but they had Thai restaurants, we had, things that were like lobster trucks, stuff like that.
I don't think you can have a regulation that says no
No,
pizza.
No.
Yeah.
But what it does do is opens up for the local community for them to supply those things during those festivals.
And they don't.
journalist,
Choose to
answer what you as a commissioner of P&Z, I know people, everyone complain about you guys all the time. Right now, as a chamber of board members, we're going to have the big Christmas party every year, but there's now, we talk about the track, the food track. I'm in charge for the food for the whole fire department. Actually, I talk with all restaurants, anything happen, I talk with them. Most of them, they're not happy. I'm not being just a subway, I don't care. But I'm saying that. Number one is, if you open that door for the public, people, they are coming for the, for the track. Number one, they don't have any insurance. They don't have any, they don't pay any rent. They don't have, most of them, maybe they have food safety license. I think is we do not have to hoard any small businesses on Route 1, which is, I do hear many times from Steve Chips Bob and some other people as well. John, you're a chamber member, you are very close with the town. We have problem. We are not allowed to have the food, the track over there in the town. As a member in Clinton Chamber, I do disagree with that one. I do know we invite all those businesses who are going to participate to bring their food there. Those tracks when they are coming, we shouldn't copy Madison from other town. We cannot compare our Clinton and other town. Restaurant business is dying, honestly. I'm one of them. Summer we do business. in some winter time is very, very hard from A to Z. You know, when we bring any food business over here, like shack, they take away all the businesses. People, they have car, they have, they have internet, they could order, they pick up the food from any food. I'm not supporting that, not from myself, because of support other small
That's
business
what
in town.
happened, Sandy.
I just have a quick point to that, especially I think you were referring to Christmas in Clinton perhaps, but, so some would say, yes, food trucks take away from them. However, last year at Christmas in Clinton, I went to Chips after at 8 o'clock. They had an hour wait. I went by Grand Peas. They had a very long wait. So for them, and further, they have been approached and
Said no.
and when Grand was approached, they said, I don't care what you do, who you bring in, it's my busiest day of the year. Do whatever you want.
It's a rising tide.
So it's kind of tricky. I mean, I understand that they feel that it's taken away, but I think for just
One
one
day
event purposes,
for 5
it brings
hours.
a lot more people in, and then after the event, because Christmas in Clinton is only from 1 to 6. So
No,
you
the
still
thing
have.
is, right, that's an answer my heated way, but right, very good point. You have to do through from the public hearing. If the people, if you guys will said yes, the restaurant are the minority, If you guys will said yes, that's just make him amended,
They're
that'd
gonna
be
do a
perfect,
survey,
yes.
so, yeah.
All right,
We need a survey, yes.
I know.
yeah, we may need to like move on a little bit.
I'm sorry, I
Before-
guess
one more-
there
okay.
was some low-hanging fruit on ways to maybe market. Put flyers in ShopRite and Stop and Shop that kind of list all the events that are taking place, because everybody buys food. So that kind of hits across lots of these target audiences that we were talking about, that might not have kids in school, might not go to some of these grander events. Having more placemaker meetings like this, where different organizations get to talk to each other and are able to solve things that we wouldn't ordinarily know were issues. Using high school students for community service, there was an idea of every student being required.
But they do Husky Helper Day.
It's gone,
that's
it's
a virtual
gone.
event.
Yeah, it's
They
gone
drive
now.
part of their. No, they didn't do it last year, but they're supposed to be doing it.
Oh, are they gonna bring it back? Great.
We could tap into their internet.
And then,
That's another thing, Eagle Scout project.
yeah, and so we let those organizations with each other, especially for nonprofits that need that. And then, we have so many resources in our town. We talked about the marinas, we talked about all the parks and whatnot, but we don't have any maps for like existing trails for people to hike on, and that could be another opportunity.
I think the Land Conservation Trust does that.
They're on And their they stop website,
On their website, they're not.
but they're not handouts.
Right.
But that's
And
because
they're
they ended up being trash, because I
Oh,
live right
is
down
it?
the road from Buell Forest, but it would be nice if they had one even posted there,
Like,
like a
Kiosk.
board
So like a-
that had,
yeah,
it. But I
the
know
board
they
that has
won't
the
do
map.
paper again, because they ended up being all over the place, and
Oh, you mean at the site of the.
Yeah.
At the site of
So where did they put it? Well,
They
that's
should
something we
have
have to
them
talk
working
about.
out there.
But it's,
So
but I
that's
think that's a good
low-hanging
idea to
fruit
have.
that-
Because I don't know where they are.
Right, they should be
Yeah.
a
I think
park and
that, I think at the library there are brochures that they have.
Yeah, I guess
And-
Lowe's gets hit up a lot too,
Yeah.
as being part of Park and Rec.
Yeah.
You could have a link possibly out there, that's
But
good.
not everybody does,
Yeah,
Facebook, or I mean,
Any,
make an app.
yeah, okay, and that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great high school project to.
Yeah.
This table, any overriding,
Well, we all broke up into other tables, but we kind of like, we're foster children here. But there were a few themes it seemed. One was wayfinding throughout the whole town. It wasn't just wayfinding, finding signage, wayfinding, finding your way around the store, finding your way around a town, a community. It doesn't really exist here uniformly, and that's something, it's a big picture. It's a planning and zoning thing, but there are ways where you could have some standardized way of having signage around town. And it really starts with 95, which everybody's gonna talk about. You go by and there's exit 62 and it says Hammonasset. It doesn't say Clinton, it doesn't say Clinton Marina, it doesn't say even Madison, if you want to get in bed with our neighbors, and say, it only says Hammonasset Beach. It's all it says for a huge exit with a straight, it's almost like one of those southern bridges to nowhere, interstate, it comes down from there empty most of the time. We should have one there, we should have some more signage on 95, and then as you move into the town, it's how to direct people down to the Marina District, that's wayfinding, so you know what's going on down there. That was one thing. I think the other thing was, communications, Minor said it, everybody said it, you know, when the demise of the patch, when Faye left years ago, was actually this place you could go to, find out what's happening in the town, you could find out what the votes were, they'd let you know at midnight that night what a vote was. Now you find out what Ron Howard selling a house in Greenwich, you have no idea what's happening around here. There's a vacuum there. Now, you know, what can you do quickly? You can have meetings and everything, and the Facebook with all of its limitations, we last year got to pat ourselves in the back, but did a pretty good job with the 350 of using Facebook and our Facebook page to actually get to a core group of people in town that told everybody what was going on. So you had enough people that would link up to Facebook, like it, share it, and you know, it wasn't everybody, but you know, it was the only thing that was existent and didn't cost any money. Now, we started this a Placemakers Facebook page a while ago. We each put one up just to have one there. Because the question is, Kirk has done, there's a million calendars out there where everything is, just nobody knows that they're there. I mean, that's the problem. It's not like some of these things don't exist. They do exist. We just don't know they exist until somebody tells you they exist. A Facebook page is a good way to link those kinds of things up. I think it would probably be good to develop, to promote our Facebook page more and have it become more of a broader, anybody who likes it can share what's going on, and a lot more people could be editors to it. You know, it's not going to be a blog and talk about politics and who's running and all that. Somebody has to manage that kind of like spin on the thing. But anybody from any group can put on it and say, hey, the Rotary is having a food drive with the fire department this week, come on by. I mean, that was a simple thing. We don't know what's going on in this town, and a lot goes on. And that's when we stumble over each other sometimes. But we do. I mean, if we had to, you get the guy in the eye shade and you'd have Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen, and be running around town running stories.
Maybe we need a town crier.
Town whiner.
How about this table?
You don't need a soapbox, right?
Can I just, sorry.
Oh, yes,
I just want to say about the signage throughout town. Planning and zoning is aware, and we have it next town planning conservation development. We've also asked the consultant planners we're working on to continue to look for any funding out there, because it does cost money to have somebody design and find out appropriate locations. They're also going to look at whether or not potentially Yale, one of the students' organizations, could come in and maybe do some sort of program for us. So it is out there. I'm not going to say that this organization, Placemaking, shouldn't consider to pursue it and remind everybody that it's out there, because it is a huge need.
I don't think it's not we have to fix anything. It's just somebody else does it. It's even better, you know.
But you're on the design review board, and I really don't know what they do, except that who lets the resort and spa put up a blue and yellow sign, and Happy Long put up a pink and black one? You know, can we not have a color scheme with this?
That's something where you create design standards.
Design palette.
It's where you hire.
I mean, I thought they were asked, the resort and spa was asked, but I guess they denied it. And then when I saw the pink Happy Long sign, I said, oh. And I want to tell you, I was there for an opening across the street, and there must have been 4 carloads of high school kids going into the Happy Long. Now, I don't know what they're doing there, but, you know, is there
They're
something in
vaporizing.
is there something in the vapor, or it's just vapor?
Did you smell the smoke of the vaporizing?
They sneak into the spa.
There's not a design palette. We don't have guidelines, design guidelines. There's not like a design palette.
That's his design review board that does, we're talking about hiring somebody to come up with design palette.
And that's you get the fonts, palettes, a whole bunch of stuff you can do, but that's heavy timber in this town.
No, you find a town that you really like, and you look and see
Yeah,
what
but
their design standards are.
It's
and see
easy
if
for
you
all of us,
can
but it's very
kinda
difficult
adopt
to
them.
force a color upon somebody that doesn't want to use yellow
Well, you know
and
what?
gold.
If that's the statute, that's the statute.
Have any of you been to Hilton Head, South
I
Carolina?
have.
They have very, very strict design
Well, that's
standards.
because.
And I bet their signs are beautiful, and everyone knows
So
where
does
they're going.
Clinton Crossing. They're developer imposed standards.
By professional
That's
people.
the difference.
And that's something you're working on with planning and zoning?
We haven't started it, we're looking at getting funding to do it, because you actually Not to say that any of us couldn't sit down and pull something down from another website that, another town has developed. But it is, you do have to look at the locations, you have to look at what color palettes go along with it. And it's not just the signage, we're talking about street furniture as well, possibly. You have lighting and.
There's the way that towns do it. Towns do it by using community development block grant money to pay. You want consistent signage, you pay for it. It isn't
It's like they can't
expensive.
water their own buckets in front of their stores, it drives me freaking crazy. Come on,
Just
why
pick
can't
up,
they do that?
just pick up on one thing about the food trucks. One of the things that
What are we
communities,
talking
I know, one of the things that communities are doing is they're having food truck festivals,
Yeah.
which are drawing thousands of people
Yeah.
into the town. So just one
I
thing.
guys love that.
Yeah.
They had a change.
But
We went to Western, it was great.
But one thing, I go back to the communication, I think that we need to find a forum or forums to communicate about, because we have a lack of communication venues in this town, as to where we're at, where we're going, and where we want to be.
And so, do food trucks have to pay anything to the town? I mean,
We were all.
This is permanent.
Let's do the overarching question. Lynn? Yes. Yes.
I did want to say something that might also be good to help to try to get the word out. The Rotary, quite a few years ago, were thinking about donating, donating a sign, like Old Saybrook High School, like a brick sign, with the sign, with the word and whatever was going on, or student of the month, whatever it was, going on that week or whatever. And, selling each brick, donating each brick to, somebody would put their name on it, each person would buy a brick, and that would help fund it, and that was kind of a good idea.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Well,
help.
the 350 gave the Board of Selectmen or the town $6,000 toward a sign.
Yeah.
But nothing's been done yet.
But it was the sign committee that not a town market.
Right. So I mean,
This was
that's,
20 years ago.
but yeah, so we have to do that.
Why don't we visit, why don't we visit that?
Maybe we should go to the selectmen's meeting and ask them.
All right, I would like us to have a brilliant trajectory of innovation and great work. Right now, in this room, we have two people who are going to play a critical role in our future, along with the rest of us, Lisa and Carol. The website committee, our Clinton website, not putting you guys on the spot, but just saying, we've got bodies here. There's funding and a trajectory to have a new Clinton website. We talk about communication being lacking. We know so many of us are plugged in. What is critical to have on that website? And okay, here,
Right there, what
okay.
Liz Beloff had, Clinton, Connecticut, the heart of the shoreline. I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and that would be great for your.
Okay, tagline. Liz Beloff. Thank her, this is good. All right, so we need a tagline. What else should this website do?
It should show, I mean, with those, there I am again, I'm sick of seeing my face over there.
Everything around Clinton.
But there's, Elaine talked to me about it, was, we did these fan favorites, and we did the 350, and we did, the harbor, all excellent things. We didn't do the opera, we didn't do we did Sydney Store, the Historical Society, there's so many cultural events, the antique shops, there's so much more in this town than IROC, or, nothing against you.
I don't take any offense.
Or, and the town beach is very good, but there, antique shops, cultural events, the opera, George Flynn. There's so many things that, if we do that next year for fan favorite, those have got to be in it.
Sure.
That's part of Clinton.
People put them in. We didn't put them in. Those were put in by people who nominated those places. It is, what is your favorite place in Clinton?
The video.
You're saying the video, but we're talking two different things.
When the video is made next year, in fact, somebody should start taking, when the George Flynn concerts, take a picture of something in the opera, you know, so we can put them all together somehow, I don't know how to do this. But just so, you know.
All right, now, what do you see from websites that you go on that makes it easy to interact with it? If you want to interact with your town from home, it's snowing out, you're not going out, you want to do what? What do you want to see on that website?
Well,
Sam.
it's not necessarily what I want to see, but what I want it to be able to do
Yeah.
is say, sign up if you want to receive text that so-and-so's having a meeting tonight. And so it's already, right, that's kind of not too hard to ask for architecture. So, because there are a lot of times people like, oh darn, I forgot about that. And so if you can sign up for text to get that, or email,
Or if
text or
there's a
email.
board of selectmen meeting, whether it's.
Right, that's what I'm
at
saying,
9
and
or
there's
10
90, you can look on the calendar what meetings are happening, but I don't go on the town website to look.
This is
Tell me, what do you
just
think?
something about an
Palo
app.
Alto calendar that we looked at,
Mhm.
if you click on a particular event,
Yeah,
one of the options that you get in the menu is add to my calendar. And
okay.
it goes directly
How
to
do
your
you get an
calendar.
app on your phone? This gentleman said, how about an app for Clinton?
Yeah, well, it would be in the App Store at some point once
Oh,
it's
you
made.
Can you do that?
Yeah, when it's done, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we're still putting together the RFP, so,
Right,
you know,
right.
we're like at least a year out.
And this is a question for everybody, and you might have addressed it already, is advertising, whether or not you want it funded by advertising?
We haven't broached that subject at all, but we can definitely bring it in.
That's a thought.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be a lot of maintenance.
Not a
I
problem.
think,
Yeah.
I think the website's a great idea. I also think we need to let people know it's there. So it's just thinking perhaps like I could see in the gallery window, a small sign, what's happening or, you know, some kind of catchy thing. And then have, in other words, get that web address out there. Because people are on it, they're not gonna check it if they don't know it's there. And if every business put it someplace, or we handed it out, or we dropped it from parachutes or whatever, but people have got to know the website's there.
How expensive is it to mail to everybody? Elaine mailed our brochure this year to every single household in
Did you
Clinton.
do it?
And it made a huge difference in terms of recognition.
Technique.
Bulk, I mean, bulk, did you mail it bulk rate, mail
Yeah.
or first class?
Well, no, it was,
It's a
in
special-
every person.
It goes to the postal.
In every person's box. It wasn't bulk rate.
But it wasn't addressed, it was just
It was.
resident.
That's right, it's like a postal.
But it's still.
Why couldn't you write an article? It was like in North
Why couldn't you write
Why
an article in the Clinton Events magazine that goes free to every household?
Because I can tell you why that won't work, because there was an article every week in the Harbor News about the 350, and you don't know how many people said, I've never seen it, one article in the paper.
Well, I mean, this is.
So they don't, but they don't read it, they
But they're not
think
gonna-
they read it, but they don't read
They're not
it.
gonna get involved anyway, you know, there's some people you can't.
Many years ago, my good friend Lynn Mays and I headed up the study for open space, and we sent out a survey and we put it in the tax bills. And so everybody opens their tax bill. Here was
There you
the
go.
survey, and then you would.
When do the tax bills come?
Tax
bills?
Maybe next year with the tax bills, we get information about the website, we get the
Yeah.
restaurant brochures in there. I mean, is there a way we can finesse with the town to use those, do some marketing?
The first selectman.
That could be the survey.
They could be on the website, could be on the shop right and Stop and Shop receipts or other local restaurants. Get
Oh, I know.
Church
Tax bills.
I think that needs to be coordinated with the Board of Selectmen, though.
Excuse me.
Board of Selectmen, suggestions are being made that maybe you could have with the tax bill, let's call it an advertising
Yeah,
component,
my
whether it's a
feeling is that
survey.
that's all computer done. I know in the past, for like the dog park, I have printed out and made requests for donations for the dog park, and the town clerk very nicely puts those in with them. But I don't think that would be the same with the tax bills. My feeling is that's computer generated and just.
That comes
Yeah,
out.
we-
Yeah,
we
those
stuff-
are generated
stuff
by
the envelopes
Microsoft.
ourselves.
You do stuff that envelopes?
We did,
Like
well,
that was how long ago?
Lynette and I did like 15 years ago.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's
Yeah.
been
Now
done
it's done
well
by
with
an
the
outside company.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no harm in asking.
Yeah, you
There's
just
never-
contact the outside company and tell them what tagline you want, information you want added to their.
Oh,
that's what
printed
you-
on the tax bill.
My best friend is Melanie Anderson, or text. Or she
We don't get it. Or the other thing, I don't know if they would go along with it, but is
That's
the
true.
the
It
fire
goes
department
right to the
ask
bank.
for, ask for.
Yeah.
Ours is
That's
for
true.
a
I mean,
car.
if
The
car
banks-
taxes, car
Yeah.
taxes, it would have to be on your car.
Here, you can on
Looking for.
My iPad.
Very, very little.
40 years.
Yeah.
I don't think so. They're still pushing for next year.
No, they have a Facebook.
Yeah, they've already started with the push for next year.
Oh, God.
Well, because apparently they made money this year. So,
Who owns the fish? Sandy Claus can't own it.
no, she doesn't own it. What do you mean by own it?
I mean, is there anybody that can say, we've had enough?
Oh,
We launched that around
we
that
could
date.
probably
yeah.
all
Thanks.
petition Sandy.
And then get on.
She's pretty much the number one.
You know what, unless you're gonna replace it with something.
You need to maybe take time out and.
We all want that, especially in a 350 year. That's when they should know.
But I think,
That's when she
I don't
got
think
on
that
her
any organization say, okay, we're just not gonna do it. I think you have to offer an alternative.
Well, we,
I
I
haven't
mean,
read
we
it.
did that last year.
All it takes to get on the movement should have bowed down last year to 350.
Last year,
That should have been
there was at one of the charrettes, there was a great idea, like either the Rhythm and Blues
Right.
Fish Festival,
Yeah.
and have like a day with blues bands and food trucks.
That sounds wonderful.
Someone resign while
Doesn't
you.
that sound wonderful?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap up with great appreciation for all of you. Thanks so much.
Austin,